I worked in a Charleston house where people disappeared damned. No one asked questions. 6 empty chairs at every meal. Deliveries that arrived after dark and never left. A locked room on the 2nd floor that no one was allowed to enter. The family spoke of virtue at Sunday prayers. They smiled at their neighbors. They kept their schedules tight as prayer. But I counted everything. I marked the footsteps at midnight. I mapped the Thursdays when the side door opened. I watched them rearrange the kitchen when a delivery came late. The white man thought secrecy was safety. He thought no one was watching. He was wrong. I did not fight them. I did not accuse them. I simply broke their rhythm and let the pattern speak. The city saw what I made visible. Now I ask you, how many other houses kept locked rooms that no one questioned? I arrive at the Charleston house just before dusk. The wagon stops at the corner where the brick meets the road. The driver is white. He does not look at me when he speaks. Out, he says. I climb down. My legs are stiff from the ride. 3 hours from the auction yard, where I was hired out for the season. The driver points at the side entrance. A narrow door, painted green, peeling at the edges. That one, he says. He does not wait for me to respond. The wagon rolls away before my feet touch the ground properly. I stand alone. The house is brick, dark red. 3 stories tall. Windows are tall and narrow like eyes that do not blink. I count 6 chimneys rising from the roof. Smoke comes from 4 of them. The yard is swept clean. No leaves, no mud. Even the stones in the path are arranged in straight lines. I walk to the green door. Before I knock, it opens. A white woman stands in the frame. She is thin, sharp bones in her face. Her mouth is a straight line that does not soften when she sees me. "You're the hire," she says. It is not a question. "Yes, ma'am." Name? Kofi. She does not repeat it, does not write it down. Cleaning, errands, kitchen work. You sleep in the back shed, meals at dawn and dusk. You do not enter the house unless called. You do not speak unless spoken to. No wandering after dark. Understand? "Yes, ma'am." She steps aside. I enter the dim hallway. Narrow. The walls are papered in dark green. A clock ticks somewhere deeper in the house. She walks quickly. I follow. Past a dining room with a table that seats 12. Down a back corridor that smells like lye and damp wool. She opens a door to the yard. Shed, she says. It is small. Wood planks. A slanted roof. 1 window with no glass. Just slats. Inside, a straw mattress on the ground. 1 blanket. Gray. Thin. 1 bucket in the corner. The door has a latch, only on the outside. "Dawn," she says. Then she is gone. I set down my bundle. Everything I own fits inside. 1 shirt, a pair of trousers to worn for sale, a tin cup, and the bronze weight. My hand finds the bronze weight in my pocket. It is still there. It is small, heavy, shaped like a bird. My mother pressed it into my palm the morning the raiders came. She said nothing, just pressed it there and closed my fingers. I have carried it for 8 years. I sit on the mattress. The straw pokes through the fabric. The house behind me is silent. Too silent for a house with 4 fires burning. I remember villages where silence meant danger was already inside the walls. I do not sleep that first night. Morning comes with a knock on the shed door. I am already awake. I have been awake since the rooster crowed an hour before dawn. Up a voice said, "The thin woman." I open the door. She hands me a bowl. Cornmeal mush. Cold. No salt. Eat. Then come inside. I eat standing. The mush is thick and tasteless. I finish it in 6 bites. Inside, she is waiting in the kitchen. "You run errands," she says. Packages. Messages. Deliveries to the docks and back. You do not stop to talk. You do not linger. You do not ask questions. Understand? "Yes, ma'am." She hands me a sealed package. Brown paper. Red wax stamped with a seal I do not recognize. Docks, Bay Street. Ask for Mr. Callahan. Gray coat. Give this to him. Return immediately. I take the package. It is light. The Charleston is noise
of a book.
and salt
Go.
air and motion.
I
Merchants
go.
shout from storefronts. Horses clatter on cobblestones. Women in wide skirts walk arm in arm, laughing. Men in black coats stride past without looking at faces like mine. I walk quickly, head down, the package tucked under my arm. At the docks, the air changes. Fish and tar and sweat. Gulls scream overhead. Ships creak against their moorings. I find Mr. Callahan near a warehouse. He wears a gray coat, like the thin woman said. His face is red from sun and drink. Package from the Pritchard house, I say. He looks at me then at the package. He does not smile. Wait. He breaks the seal. Opens the package. Inside is a letter. He reads it quickly. Folds it. Puts it in his coat. Same time next week, he says, I nod. He signs nothing. Gives me nothing to carry back. I walk back to the house. On the way, I pass 3 neighbors. White women with baskets. They stop at the Pritchard fence. Mary. One thin woman appears at the front door. Good morning, Mrs. Halley. How are you, dear? You look well. Very well. Thank you. They smile. They ask about the weather, about church on Sunday, about her health. They do not ask about the people inside the house. They do not ask about me. I remember traders in my land. They smile too. They spoke of weather and crops and the ancestors. They never asked about the people who went missing from the villages. That night, I lie on the straw mattress. I count in my head. 6 packages in 3 days. I delivered for to Mr. Callahan at the docks. The other 2 went to different men, different addresses. Only Mr. Callahan signed for his package. The others took them and walked away. Where did those packages go? Who keeps a record? My hand finds the bronze weight in my pocket. It is still there. I think of my mother. How she counted grain after the harvest. How she knew when the raiders took more than their share. Counting reveals theft. I begin counting everything. Supper is cornmeal and pork fat cooked in a black pot. I eat in the kitchen, alone, standing at the counter near the water basin. Through the open doorway, I see the dining room. The table is long, dark wood, polished until it shines. 12 chairs surround it. Only 6 people sit. The thin woman, Mary, the neighbor called her. A man with gray hair and a beard trimmed close. 2 younger men with the same sharp jaw as the gray-haired man. A girl, maybe 16, pale and silent. An older woman who sits but does not eat. Her hands shake when she lifts her cup. 6 people. 6 empty chairs. I count them while I chew. The gray-haired man speaks. His voice is smooth, deep, the kind of voice that fills a room without effort. Business is good, he says. The shipment from Virginia arrived on schedule. Praise God, Mary says. Indeed. A knock at the front door interrupts him. Mary rises, opens the door. A neighbor stands there. A man, broad-shouldered, smiling. Evening, Mary. Is Thomas home? Of course. Come in. The gray-haired Mantumus Rhesus shakes the neighbor's hand. Good to see you, William. And you? I wanted to ask, where is your son? Haven't seen him at the club in weeks. Thomas does not pause, does not hesitate. Traveling, he says. Business in Virginia. He'll return in the spring. Ah, well, give him my regards when he returns. Of course. The neighbor leaves. No one at the table speaks. Thomas sits. I remember the elders in my village. When someone vanished taken by raiders, sold to the coast, Losti to fever, the elders always had an answer. Traveling, visiting family, gone to the city for work. The lies were always smooth, always confident, always the same. I clean the 2nd floor. Mary gives me a bucket, a brush, and a rag. She walks ahead of me up the stairs. Floors first. Then dusts the furniture. Do not touch anything on the desks. Do not open any drawers. Understand? Yes, ma'am. She leaves me there. 14 rooms on the 2nd floor. Bedrooms, a study, a sitting room, a sewing room 30. Doors open when I test them. The last door is locked. It is at the end of the hallway, painted white like the others. Brass handle. No markings. I wipe the handle, dust the frame. I do not test the knob. I hear footsteps behind me. Mary? I did not hear her climb the stairs. That room is storage, she says. We do not clean it. Her voice is flat. Yes. She watches me move to the next door. I open it, begin scrubbing the floor. She does not leave until I finish the entire hallway. When I am done, I carried a bucket downstairs. My back ashes, my knees are raw, but I am thinking about the locked door. Storage does not need a lock. I remember my grandfather's warning. He was a hunter. He taught me to track animals through the forest. Danger hides where no one is allowed to look, he said. The snake does not strike from the open path. It waits in the place you avoid. That night, I lie in the shed. I think about the locked door. I think about the 6 empty chairs. I do not sleep. Footsteps wake me. It is past midnight. The moon is high enough to cast shadows through the slats in the shed window. The house should be sleeping. I press my ear to the wall. Wood is thin. Sound carries 2 people, maybe 3. Their steps are careful, deliberate, not the heavy tread of someone walking freely. A door opens. Not the front door, not the green side door I use. Another door. One I have not been shown. Voices, low male. I cannot make out words. Just the rhythm of conversation. Question and answer. A lamp flickers in the kitchen window. Yellow light spills onto the yard, then darkness. I count my breaths. 60, 100, 200. The footsteps return. Slower now. Heavier. The door closes. I hear the latch click. I wait until my count reaches 500. Then I move to the window. The house is dark. Every window, every door. I remember hunters in my land. My uncle was one. He taught me how they moved. At night, he said, when the prey cannot see you coming, that is when you strike. I do not sleep the rest of the night. When dawn comes, I am already awake. At the docks, I see the laborer again. He is black, tall, shoulders like a man who has carried weight his entire life. Free papers in his pocket. I saw them yesterday when he reached for a coin to pay a vendor. He loads crates onto a cart. His hands are scarred, old burns across the palms, the kind you get from hot metal or fire. I deliver a package to Mr. Callahan. He signs nothing, sends me our way. On my way back, the laborer calls to me. You work at the Pritchard house. It is not a question. I stop and look at it. Yes. He sets down the crate, wipes his hands on his trousers. His eyes are sharp, watchful. How long you been there? A week. He nods, picks up another crate. Delivery came last week, he says quietly. Big crate. Heavy. I carried it myself. Took it to the Pritchard house. Back door. After dark. I wait. It never left, he says. He does not look at me when he says it. He looks at the water, at the ships. What was in it? I ask. Didn't ask. Who received it? The old man. Gray hair. He paid me extra to keep quiet. I remember my uncle. He taught me to listen for what people do not say. This man is saying more than his words. What time do they usually receive deliveries? I ask. After dark. Always after dark. Thursday nights. Mostly I nod. Thank you, I say. He looks at me now. His eyes are tired. Be careful, he says. I walk back to the house. I think about Thursday nights, about heavy crates that arrive and never leave, about 6 empty chairs. My hand finds the bronze weight in my pocket. It is still there. Sunday, prayer meeting. The parlor is full. Neighbors, friends. 12 people sit in chairs, arranged in a circle. I serve tea. I am invisible. Thomas the gray-haired man reads from Scripture. His voice fills the room like oil spreading on water. The righteous are delivered from trouble, he says, and the wicked takes their place. Amen, the neighbors say. We are blessed, Thomas continues. Blessed to live in a city of order, of law, of virtue. Amen. Mary speaks next. Thinner voice. We have been working with a charity society, she says. feeding the poor, clothing the orphans. It is our duty before God. The neighbors nod. They smile. They sip their tea. One woman, Mrs. Hale, speaks. You are a model family. Mary, truly a model we try. Mary says, I stand by the wall. I hold a teapot. I pour when cups are empty. No one looks at me. I watch their faces. Smooth, practiced, perfect. I remember men in my village who invoked the ancestors to justify theft, who prayed loudly and stole quietly. Piety can be a mask. After the meeting, I clean the parlor. I collect the cups. I wipe the chairs. I find a pamphlet on the floor. The duties of Christian men. I cannot read it, but I recognize the cross on the cover. That night, I sit in the shed. I think about the prayer meeting, about Thomas's smooth voice, about Mary's talk of charity. I think about the locked room, the footsteps at night, the empty chairs. I understand the flaw now. They believe secrecy is safety. They believe silence protects them. They are wrong. I sit in the shed. The night is cold. My hand finds the bronze weight in my pocket. It is still there. I think of my mother. How? She pressed it into my palm. How? She said nothing because words would have broken her. I think of my sister. How she disappeared one night when the raiders came. How we found her 3 days later in the river. I think of the men who took her. How they smiled during the day. How they spoke of honor and tradition. How they hunted at night. I do not forget. I never forget. I think of the locked room. I think of the deliveries that arrive and never leave. I think of the 6 empty chairs at the dining table. The white man thinks no one notices. The white man thinks silence is the same as blindness. In my land, we had a saying, the crocodile is patient, but the water remembers. I do not know yet what is in that room, but I know it is not storage. I know the footsteps at night are not innocent. I know the empty chairs are not explained by travel or illness. I know. Dawn comes. Light creeps through the slats. I choose to keep watching. I choose to keep counting. I do not know yet how this will end, but I know I will not leave this house until I understand what they are hiding, even if understanding costs me everything. A delivery is delayed. It is Tuesday. Normally, I carry packages to the docks at 2 o'clock, but Mary stops me in the kitchen. Go to the market instead, she says. We need flour and salt and lard. She hands me a list, coins tied in a cloth. Go now. I go. The market is crowded. I wait in line at the flour merchant, then the salt vendor, then the butcher for lard. By the time I return, the sun is low. 4 o'clock. Maybe later. I should have been inside by 3. I approach the house from the back, through the kitchen window, through the yard. I see them. Thomas, Mary, both moving quickly, not panicked, but urgent. Thomas carries something wrapped in cloth. Mary opens a cabinet, rearranges jars and tins. They do not see me. I wait, count to 100. Then I enter through the green door. Back, I say. Mary turns. Her face is calm, but her hands shake when she takes the parcels from me. Put those away, she says. She points at the pantry. Yes, ma'am. I put when the flour, salt, and lard on the shelves. The kitchen is calm. To calm. Everything is in place. Nothing looks disturbed, but I saw them moving. I saw them adjusting. I remember my mother's teaching. She managed the village granary. She knew when someone stole grain because the sacks were rearranged, not missing, just moved. Routine reveals intention, she said. Break routine, and you see the truth underneath. That night, I begin mapping their hours in my head. Every movement, every sound, every deviation. I will find the pattern. I count everything. Meals, dawn, noon, dusk, always the same times. Dawn at 6, noon at 12, dusk at 6. Deliveries, Tuesday and Friday, always before 3 o'clock. Prayers, Sunday morning, Wednesday evening. Lights out, 10 o'clock. Every room dark by 10:15, except Thursday. On Thursday, The
On
kitchen lamp
Thursday,
stays lit
the
until
side
midnight.
door opens.
I can see it from
Not
the shed.
the green
On
door,
Thursday,
the other door.
I hear footsteps.
The
The
one I have
same
never been
footsteps
shown.
I heard the
And
first
something
week.
changes in the house.
Friday mornings are different, quieter. The younger men are pale. Mary moves through the kitchen like a ghost. By Friday afternoon, the house returns to normal. I remember tracking raiders in my homeland. My uncle taught me, they always have a pattern, he said. Find the pattern, and you find the weakness. Thursday is their weakness. Thursday is when they are most vulnerable. Thursday is when I will act. At the docks, I speak to the laborer again. His name is Samuel. He told me 3 days ago. We do not shake hands. Too visible. But we speak quietly when no one is watching. Thursday nights, I say. Samuel stops loading a crate. He looks at me. You're sure? Every week. Same time. Midnight. The side door opens. Footsteps inside. Then silence. He sets the crate down carefully. Wipes his hands on his shirt.
What do you think it is?
I don't know. But whatever it is, they don't want anyone to see it. Samuel nods slowly. He looks at the water, at the ships rocking in the harbor. I can help, he says. How? Delay a Thursday delivery, Makey. Then wait. Make them nervous. See how they react. I think about this. It is risky. If they suspect interference, they will tighten control. But if they are nervous, they make mistakes. Can you do it without drawing attention? I ask. Yes. I'll say the shipment was late arriving. Weather, delayed boat. They'll believe it. I nod. Thursday, 2 days from now. I'll do it. We do not speak again that day. I walk back to the house. My heart is beating fast, not from fear, from something else. Purpose. I remember my father. He was killed by raiders when I was 10. But before he died, he taught me something. Kinship is not blood, he said. It is choice under fire. The people who stand with you when danger comes, those are your kin. Samuel and I are kin now. We have chosen to stand together. Thursday comes, I work through the day. Cleaning errands. I deliver a package to Mr. Callahan at the docks. He signs nothing, sends me our way. Samuel is loading a cart nearby. He does not look at me, but I see him nod once. It is done. I return to the house. At 3 o'clock, Mary is in the kitchen, waiting. Did the delivery arrive? She asks. No, ma'am. Her face tightened. What? Mr. Callahan said the shipment was delayed. Whether the boat arrived late? When will it arrive? He said 4 o'clock. Maybe later. She does not respond. She walks quickly to the parlor. I hear our voices, Mary. Thomas. The words are too low to make out, but the tone is sharp. I continue my work. Washing dishes, sweeping the floor. At 4 o'clock, I see Thomas through the window. He is in the parlor, pacing, back and forth, 6 times. Mary snaps at the girl, her daughter, I think for leaving a cup on the table. The younger men sit silent in the corner, tense, watching. At 5 o'clock, a knock at the door. A man delivers a package. Not Mr. Callahan. Someone else. Mary takes it. Signs nothing. Closes the door. The package is brought to the locked room. I hear the door open. I hear voices inside. I hear the door close. By midnight, the pattern resumes. Footsteps, the side door silence. But the rhythm is wrong now. I sit in the shed, fractured. I press my ear to the wall. The footsteps are faster, heavier, urgent. I remember masks in my homeland. We wore them for ceremonies. Each mask had meaning. Change one detail or color, a feather, a carving, and the whole meaning shifted. Their mask is slipping. That night, I cannot sleep. I think of my sister, how she hesitated when the raiders came, how she waited for help that never arrived. I remember finding her body, how the water had taken her, how her eyes were open. I do not forget. I never forget. I think of the house, the locked room, the empty chairs. I think of the footsteps at night, the lies that are smooth as oil. The white man thinks he is safe because he has always been safe. But I have learned something in my 23 years of life. Evil repeats itself. It follows patterns, and patterns can be broken. Tomorrow, I will test them again. That is when I know I will not leave this house until I understand what is behind that door. Even if understanding costs me everything. My hand finds the bronze weight in my pocket. It is still there. I close my fingers around it. I remember my mother's face. The last time I saw her, I remember her hands pressing the weight into mine. I remember her silence. I will not be silent. I hesitate. Morning comes. I lie on the straw mattress. My body is awake, but I do not move. 2 tests have already unsettled them. The deleted delivery on Thursday. The questions I asked Samuel at the docks. A 3rd test might be too much. Too visible. If they suspect interference, real interference, not accident, they will tighten control. They will watch me. They will send me away. Or worse, I remember my sister again. She hesitated when the raiders came. She hid in the granary instead of running to the forest. She thought waiting was safer than acting. She is dead. But I also remember the men in my village who rushed forward without planning, who attacked the raiders in daylight with farming tools and anger. They are dead too. Wisdom is knowing when to move. I sit up. My back aches. The shed is cold. I think about the locked room, about Thursday nights, about the footsteps. I think about what Samuel said. Be careful. I choose a smaller test. Something that will reveal truth without exposing me. Something they will notice but cannot trace. I leave the side door unlocked. It is late afternoon. I finish my errands early. Mary sends me to the market for candles and soap. I return by 4 o'clock. The house is quiet. Mary's upstairs. Thomas is in his study. The younger men are out. I pass through the kitchen, out the back, into the yard. The side door is there, the one they use on Thursday nights, the one I have never been shown. It is wooden, old, iron hinges. A latch on the outside that drops into a bracket. The latch is always down, always secured. I have checked it every day for 2 weeks. Today, I lift it, just slightly, just enough that it rests on the edge of the bracket instead of inside it. It looks closed, but it is not. One push, and it would open. I return to the shed. I count my breaths. 20, 40, 60. Footsteps. Quick, purposeful. I press my ear to the shed wall. Someone is at the side door. I hear the latch click down. Firmly, deliberately. Then footsteps again, moving through the house. Checking. I hear the front door open and close. The green side door. Someone is checking everything. 5 minutes later, silence returns. I sit on the mattress. My heart is pounding. I remember my grandfather. He was a hunter. He taught me to track leopards in the forest. The leopard always guards its territory, he said. If you disturb one stone, it knows. If you break one branch, it remembers. The more it guards, the more it fears. The house is afraid. They know someone touched the door. They do not know who. But by the next day, the neighbors notice something. I am in the garden, pulling weeds, trimming hedges. 2 women stop at a fence. Mrs. Holla and another woman I do not know. Mary, Mrs. Holly calls. Mary appears at the front door. Her face is tight, pale. Good morning, Mary says. Are you well, dear? You look tired. I am fine. Thank you for asking. I heard the package came late last week. Mary's smile does not reach her eyes. Yes, a delay at the docks. Nothing to worry Thomas? About. Is he well? I saw him at church on Sunday. He seemed distracted. He has much on his mind. Business matters. Mrs. Halley nods slowly. She does not look convinced. Well, if you need anything, you know where to find me, of course. Thank you. Mary closes the door. I continue eating. That afternoon, I hear more whispers. At the market, at the docks. Something is off at the Pritchard house. A merchant says to another, What do you mean? Deliveries, schedules, things are different. Different how? I don't know. Just different. They do not speak loudly, but they speak. I remember how fire spreads in dry grass. One spark, then two, then the whole field burns. I did not start these whispers, but I do not stop them. The household changes. Meals are earlier now. Dawn at 5:30 instead of 6. Dusk at 5 instead of 6. Deliveries are rescheduled. No more Tuesdays and Fridays. Now it is Monday and Thursday. I hear their voices argue behind closed doors. Sharp, angry. We should stop, one says. We can't stop now, the other replies. It's too dangerous. It's always been dangerous. Their voices drop. I cannot hear the rest. One afternoon, I clean the parlor. Thomas and Mary sit in silence. They do not see me. I am invisible. Someone is paying attention, Mary says quietly. Thomas does not look at her. He stares at the wall. No one is paying attention, he says, but his voice is tight. Then why did the delivery come late? Why did Mrs. Holly ask so many questions? Coincidence. Tom is enough. They do not speak again. I finish cleaning. I leave the room. I remember control. How it tightens when threatened. How it turns inward and devours itself. The plan is passed beyond me now. The city is watching. I did not ask the city to watch, but the city sees patterns too. Two men arrive at the house on a Tuesday morning. They wear dark coats, clean boots, wide-brimmed hats. They are not neighbors. One knocks at the front door. Firm. 3 times. Mary opens it. Her face goes pale. Good morning, ma'am. The man says, we're here on official business. Is Mr. Pritchard at home? Yes. One moment. She closes the door. I hear her footsteps. Quick. Urgent Thomas appears a minute later. He opens the door. His face is calm. His voice is smooth. Gentlemen, how can I help you? We have some questions. I am called to serve tea. May we come in? Of course. I carry the tray. They enter the parlor. I set the cups on the table. I pour. I am invisible. The men sit across from Thomas. Mary stands by the window. We're reviewing records, one man says. Shipments, deliveries, household accounts. Of course, Thomas says. What do you need to know? We've had some inquiries. Questions about irregularities. Irregularities. Yes, timing, destinations, that sort of thing. Thomas does not pause. I assure you. Everything is in order. Hesitate. We keep detailed records. Mary can provide them. We would appreciate that. Mary nods. She leaves the room. The men sit in silence. They do not drink their tea. I stand by the wall, waiting. I remember councils in my homeland. They arrived without warning. They asked simple questions. They watched how you answered. The silence afterward was the judgment. These men are watching. They see everything. The officials return the next day. This time they bring papers, ledgers, receipts. They sit at the dining table. Thomas and Mary sit across from them. We need to verify some dates, one official says. Of course, Thomas replies. The official opens a ledger, runs his finger down a column. October 3rd, a delivery arrived at the docks. Signed by you. Yes. But according to the dock records, that delivery was picked up on October 5th. An error in the records, I'm sure. Perhaps, but there are more. The official turns the page. October 17th, a payment made to Mr. Callahan. But your household ledger shows the payment was made on October 16th. Thomas shifts in his seat. A clerical error. My wife keeps the books. Sometimes dates are confused. Mara's face tightens. I do not make errors, she says quietly. The official looks at her. Then at Thomas. We also have questions about deliveries made after dark. On Thursdays, can you explain those? Thomas does not pause, but his smile thins. We prefer evening deliveries for certain items. Privacy, you understand? What items? Personal items. Family matters. Can you be more specific? No, I cannot. The officials exchange a glance. They do not accuse. They do not raise their voices. They simply take notes. I stand in the corner. I hold the teapot. I refill cups. I remember my uncle's voice. He was a trader. He knew how to spot dishonesty. Truth does not need rehearsal, he said. Lies always have edges. Thomas's lies have edges. The officials see them. The neighbors speak more openly now. I hear them at the market, at the docks, in the streets. I saw a light at the Pritchard house last Thursday, one man says. Past midnight. Strange, another replies. They always retire early. And that package that came late? Yes. Odd. Do you think something is wrong? I don't know. But something is ... different. They do not accuse, they do not name crimes. But they see patterns. I remember how truth moves. Slowly at first, like water seeping through cracks in stone. Then, all at once, the stone breaks. The pattern has been named. It cannot be unseen now. I am moved to different work. Mary finds me in the kitchen one morning. You will work in the garden today, she says. Yes, ma'am. Stay outside. Do not enter the house. Unless call. Yes, ma'am. She watches me. Her eyes are hard. Do you understand? Yes, ma'am. I spend the day sweeping the weeds, trimming hedges. I am kept away from the house, away from the locked room, away from deliveries. They think distance is safety. They think I do not see, but I see everything. I remember predators. When they are cornered, they lash out you. They control what they can. They bite the nearest hand. I prepare to leave. That night, I sit in the shed. I count my belongings. 1 shirt, 1 pair of trousers, 1 tin cup, the bronze weight. My hand finds the bronze weight in my pocket. I think about escape routes. There. Which roads lead north? Which rivers can be crossed at night? I do not know when I will leave, but I know I will. The questions continue. The officials bring more men, 4 of them now. They arrive in a carriage. They carry documents. They speak to Samuel at the docks. They speak to merchants. They speak to neighbors. I watch from the garden. Thomas's voice loses its oil. I hear him through the window, shouting, "Defensive?" Mary stops attending church. The neighbors notice. Where is Mary? Mrs. Halley asks one Sunday. Unwell, Thomas says, but his face is gray. The younger men leave the house one morning. They carry bags. They do not say goodbye. They do not return. I watch the house collapse inward. Windows stay closed. Curtains drawn. Meals are quiet. One afternoon, a carriage arrives. 2 men in uniform step out. They knock at the front door! Thomas opens it. They speak for 5 minutes. I cannot hear the words. When they leave, Thomas closes the door slowly. I hear him walk to the parlor. I hear him sit. I hear nothing else. I remember a saying from my land. When the anthill is broken, the ants scatter. But some ants survive. I will survive. Samuel is questioned for 2 hours. I see him the next day at the docks. He is tired. His eyes are red. They asked about you, he says quietly. We stand near a stack of crates. No one is close enough to hear. What did you say? That you run errands. That you work hard. That I barely know you. I nod. They let me go, he says. But they kept my name. They said they might call me again. I'm sorry. Don't be. I chose this. He lifts a crate, sets it on the cart. What will you do? He asks. Leave. Soon. Where will you go? North. Maybe. He nods. Does not ask more. Be safe, he says. You too. We do not meet again. I walk back to the house. I think about Samuel, about the cost he paid how for survival works. Some carry the weight. Saw me walk free. It is never fair. But fairness is not survival. I leave Charleston before dawn. Mary sends me on an errand to a farm 10 miles north. She hands me a letter, a package. Deliver this, she says. Return by evening. Yes, ma'am. I take the letter, the package. I walk north. The road is empty. The sun rises behind me. The air is cool. I walk for 3 hours. When I reach the fork in the road, one path to the farm, one path deeper north, I stop. I think about the house, the locked room, the empty chairs. I think about the footsteps at night, the lies that were smooth as oil. I think about Samuel, about the officials, about the neighbors who whispered. I think about my mother, my sister, my father. I do not forget. I never forget. I choose the northern path. I do not return. 3 days later, I stop at a creek. I look back once. Charleston is a smudge on the horizon. Smoke rises from 100 chimneys. The Pritchard house stands silent among them. I do not know what the officials found in the locked room. I do not need to know. The city holds the rest. I keep my life. I sit by a fire now. 3 days north of Charleston, a village took me in. Small, free black families, farmers, craftsmen. They ask few questions. I tell them I'm traveling north. They nod. One woman gives me cornbread. A man gives me a blanket. I sit by the fire in the center of the village. Children play nearby. Women cook. Men repair tools. It is quiet, safe. My hand finds the bronze weight in my pocket. It is still there. I remember the house, the locked room, the empty chairs. I remember the footsteps at night, the deliveries after dark. I remember Thomas's smooth voice, Mary's tight face. The white man thought killing was control. He thought secrecy was safety. He thought no one was watching. But pattern is louder than fear. I did not open the locked room. I did not accuse anyone. I did not fight. I simply watched. I counted. I disrupted their rhythm, and the city did the rest. In my land, we had a saying, the crocodile is patient, but the water remembers everything. I was the water. I watched. I remembered. I let the pattern reveal itself. The officials came because the pattern could not be hidden anymore. The neighbors spoke because they saw what I made visible. Samuel helped because some men choose courage over silence. I remember my sister. I remember the men who took her. I remember hesitating. I do not forget. I never forget. But here, in Charleston, I did not hesitate. I outlasted their secrecy. I survived their danger. That is enough. The fire crackles. Sparks rise into the night sky. A child laughs nearby. A woman sings softly. I close my eyes. I think of my mother, the bronze weight in my palm. Her silence the morning. The raiders came. She gave me this weight so I would remember. So I would carry something from before. So I would know that survival is not forgetting. Survival is remembering and still choosing to live. I open my eyes. The fire is warm. The village is safe. I am still alive. That is enough.